presentation on Saturday. It's a presentation. I don't really even know what it is. They gave me a topic, and it's like between 15 and 45 minutes. That's all I know. Here's the topic: leadership and public speaking. Okay, so I've thought about this quite a bit. I haven't sort of an outline, but I haven't rehearsed. So this is rehearsal number one. It's Thursday. I'm waiting for some thunder. I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm just not. Here we go. I'm going to do this as if I were thrown upon the stage last minute and I had to do this talk. I'm going to keep it under 10 minutes and I'm totally going to wing it, but I'm not going to meta talk. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to do it as if really I were here and I had to get it done. It might be super short because for me, I do these rehearsals, these sort of it's like a draft. For me, draft writing is like this. This is what I'm doing right now. Feel free to join me in this Thursday Thunder activity of draft. It's a draft speech. It's probably a better word for that. I don't know. All right, here we go. So I am going to jump on into leadership and public speaking. And so what we are going to do in the program is first step A, then B, then C. That's the way it's going to be. Are there any questions? No questions allowed. Thank you very much. We're done here. Get to it. Option A. Option C. So we have three options. We could do less. We could do more. We could talk about it. But, right, so A, B, and C. Now, I need your feedback. I want to discuss this, in a communal manner. And we're going to see which of the three plans for the project we'll use. Now, I'm not your leader. I am just a team member, just like you. And we're going to be working on this project together. Okay, are you guys ready? Should we take a break first? Did we get coffee? Are you guys okay? You guys hungry? I'm kind of hungry. Let's take a break. Let's work on it after lunch, and we'll get going with the team presentation. All right. That was a bit quick, but I just gave two different extreme scenarios for public speaking, for giving a presentation. Now, over in the left corner was what I call the dictator. Over here is the democracy. They talk about, decision by democracy, and this is decision by the dictator. Now, dictators get a bit of the short end of the stick. They tend to murder people when they don't agree, or change laws, do whatever they want, start wars, unnecessary. World War I, II, take your pick, three. Anyway, so the thing about the dictator and the democracy, they're very different, and we are going to discuss the pros and cons of each in today's presentation. Now, I'm going to go back to a naming company where I worked many years ago, and what I learned about democracy versus dictatorship. Now, this naming company, if you don't know about naming companies, it's an odd bird. It's a bit of an odd profession. I really enjoyed it. A quick backstory on how I got this job. I was in Hanoi in northern Vietnam. I'm reading a Business Week magazine. And in this magazine, I'm on a trip around the world, right? I'm like, the world is my oyster. I'm just feeling good. And in this article from the magazine, it's talking about naming companies. And in the article, it says, the ideal candidate for this naming person is a linguist with an MBA. Pepper, come on. And I was there in Hanoi. We had just been traveling 10 months around the world. And I was a linguist with an MBA. Not to mention, without a job or a place to live, or even I didn't even know what continent we were going to live on. Long story, a little shorter. I, I tear out the article. I go to these three offices that happen to be in the Bay Area, which is where we ended up. And I go in and I say, "Hey, this guy, that's me. I'm your guy." They pretty much hired me on the spot. I worked at the naming company for years, and it was a nightmare. So we're at a big presentation, and this is back in the day. We're talking like the turn of the century. Did I really just say that? We're talking 2000, 2001, and it's the boom of the dot coms. And I'm living in San Francisco. Silicon Valley's going wild, and what's happening is that these companies are they're very quick to grow. We literally got phone calls saying stuff like, "Hey, we just got $7 million in funding yesterday. We kind of have a company, but we don't have a name. Can you guys come down tomorrow? We'll pay you whatever you want." So we would come down tomorrow, right? So we were finished up with the project, and we'd come up with hundreds of names, and we whittle it down to 40. We might have an interim discussion with them, and then for the final presentation, we'd have like 10 or 12. And from these 10 or 12, we would like that the board, we would present only to the board or maybe just a few people, so the real decision makers in the company. Okay, remember that. We don't present to the entire company. We're presenting to the decision makers in the company, and we would say, "Here's the 12," and then we would not have an opinion about what's better. We would give the pros and cons of each of the 12, but then not give a personal opinion as to why one was better or not. Okay. So then what happened one time is we're at this big corporation, this CEO guy, and he's got his team, his lively team, and they're talking about they making sure that's not like a boswachter over there who's going to get me for having my dog off leash. No. Okay. They are they get the names. We have the 12 names, and then they say, "Thanks so much. These are great. We're not quite sure what we want to do yet. And what we'd like to do is take these 12 names and then have a big meeting with all the 300 people in the company and have them then deliberate, and we'll discuss and talk about what the best name is going to be for the company." And we said, right, right. I understand how you think that process would be very democratic and that you would get the best name of the bunch. But what's really going to happen is that you're going to end up with the lowest common denominator. And you're going to end up with the name that the people hate the least. Okay? And so you follow me here, right? So we got the democratic decision over here. We're going to give it to the whole company and say this is the way it is. And then over here, we've got the dictator. And this was my foray, my first introduction into the any positive aspect of a dictatorship. But I got it. I finally got it at that moment. So we advise them, do not even share it outside of this room with the 3 or 5 of you. No, you 3 or 5, you take it back and you decide this is the best name, and here's why. Don't even show them the other 11, or if you get it down to 5, the other 4. Here's the best name. This is what we're going with. This is why. Aren't we all excited? Okay, so did you catch that? We advised them to be dictators. We said, don't ask the people. Oh, those citizens of the world, overrated. No, go to them with strength, with pride, bit of even fear in your voice, and say, here's what we're doing. This is the name. Celebrate with us. You don't even have to tell them about the process. You're just saying, this is what we're doing and why. Okay? Are you with me on the positive aspect of dictatorship? Because it took me a while, but I got there. Because at the end of the day, over here, back to the democratic process, we're going to get dissent. We're going to have discussion. I need to find another D word. And there's gonna be fighting, and there's gonna be, oh well, why didn't you ask me? I have a better name for you. We got this all the time. Oh, oh, didn't you think of this? How about this name for the company? So that worked pretty much never with the democratic decision process. Or if they did it, they would really come back with the name that was hated the least. And that nobody was happy. Nobody. Because then there would still be these internal squabbles, and down the road there would be more squabbles about how, oh, I could have done it this way, I could have done it that way. Oh well, we were involved in the process, but even some people would say this decision is not ours. Back over here, this is the expert viewpoint. I could of course make this a little less dire and talk about the expert and the, I don't know, student or something. But I like the dictator and the democracy because it's even harsher. And we don't want to like the dictator. The dictator is even a bad dude. But in this situation, in a decision making process, or when we are sharing a message, can you see how this dictator is, okay, here's the bad side, feared, but he's respected. I mean, respected probably because of the fear. So in your public speaking, we're going to take out, the murder, the threats of violence, the make up laws whenever the existing laws don't work for you. So do you feel how we're gonna shift a little bit away from the murderous mayhem, but we're gonna stick with the this is what we're doing, and it's if you want to say collective decision for us as a government or us as a company or us as a whoever you are, or if it's just you, that's fine too. But you can back it up with your study or back it up with this or that. But you have took a stand. You staked your stick in the ground. You put your line in the sand, and you say this is what it's going to be. And I've noticed this in my own speaking, in my own courses, in my own books. I say, this is the way it is, or this is the way I see it. Take it or leave it. It's not, this is the way I see it. Let's discuss it for hours on end and never get anywhere. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Bradley's a dictator. What a jerk. I get it. Get it. Been there, done that. The funny thing is, of course, if you know me, you know I'm not a jerk, and I'm usually way too far in this direction. So I think the happy medium is somewhere in the middle. But frankly, for decision making and public speaking, it's a step over towards the dictator. Sure, you want to get their opinions, but do it in a way we're talking about leadership here, where you are the leader. You are okay, dictator is a bad word. How about leader? How about leader? This is about leadership, right? The leader. You're the leader. The leader in public speaking. The dictator in the government. They're feared, they're respected, they get the job done. You could really take these so negative or so positively, but we're trying to put the twist on leadership to make it positive. So the whole community, the discussion, the groups, the kumbaya, let's do it together. I get it. Let's get to that point. But somebody has to take a stand and make a decision. This is what we're going to do. Often it happens with a deadline or other sort of hard facts that money or deadline or whatever reason that somebody has to take a stand that this is what we're going to do. And the leader is the one who makes that decision. Over here in the community, we're going to discuss it. We're going to get there. But then at some point, you, dear public speaker, dear dictator, dear benevolent dictator, you're going to say, this is what we're going to do. That's it. Okay, I'm done. I swear. that was, I don't know how long that was, but I got my basic ideas across. I wanted to have my this side, that side, and somewhere in the middle, but then want to also pick sides a little bit. That's the dictator in me trying to walk the talk here and say, this is the side I think we should be on. That's it. That's my Thursday Thunder for today. That was rehearsal number 1 for leadership and public speaking. It is Thursday. This is Thunder. Did you enjoy the backdrop? I'll share the link to the Spark video where just a half hour ago, it was just a glorious sunrise here. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next week. I'll do updates of my video, and then I'll share some of how my Saturday presentation actually goes. Thanks for watching.